Hello everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of Dayspring Discussions. I'm your host Sean McGahee, and this is a show where we talk about movies, TV, sci-fi, fantasy, comic books. If you geek out about it, we're going to talk about it. You can listen to Dayspring Discussions on iTunes, YouTube, Podomatic, Patreon, Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcasts, wherever, guys. While you're there, go and rate, review, subscribe, please. Then head on over to the Facebook group and Twitter account and join in the discussion. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back. I know I haven't done a show in quite some time. I've been quite busy, actually, lately. Last weekend, I had my buddy Josh's bachelor party. The weekend before that, we had Father's Day stuff going on, and it's just been a crazy couple of weeks, so I have not had time to sit down and actually do an episode, plus mix in the fact that, you know, there are a few things that I could have done episodes on, but I wasn't really passionate about talking about these things. Of course, you can always hop on the Facebook group and Twitter account and discuss things because I post stuff there daily, or at least I try to, but that's always a good place to discuss things if I don't make an episode. But anyway, I'm back, I'm here, and I have something I want to talk about. So I sat down and this weekend and started watching Netflix's Warrior Nun. Now, I just finished it probably within the last 30 minutes to an hour. Watched about 2 episodes a day. It didn't come out Friday. I think it came out on Thursday, which is weird for a Netflix show. Usually they come out on Friday. This one came out on Thursday, but nevertheless, I remember seeing the trailer for this, and it wasn't that long ago that they came out with the trailer for this, actually. And when I watched it, I felt like it had a very Buffy the Vampire Slayer vibe, where the main character, Ava, is this girl who's gifted with these powers to fight demons, and she's not really the typical type of person to actually bestow this power upon. You know, in Buffy, you know, she's kind of like a cheerleader, valley girl type, and while I would say Ava's not really quite there, she's definitely not the warrior meant for the purpose kind of character. And then also you have like this team surrounding her kind of guide, like a Giles in Father Vincent, we saw from the trailers. So it was something that I seemed very interested in. It's based on a comic book. I've never read the comic book, but Warrior Nun Aurelia, I know I mispronounced that, but created by Ben Dunn back in 1994. So this story revolves around Sister Shannon Masters, who is a member of the Order of the Cruciform Sword, a fictional military order of warrior nuns and magical priests in the service of the Catholic Church. Now, the origin, according to the comic book, goes is that when a Valkyrie named Aurea renounced her pagan ways and turned to Jesus Christ for salvation. Ever since then, Aurora, sorry, I can't pronounce it, guys. I'm horrible. I know, I'm just horrible. Anyway, Aurelia has chosen an avatar every generation to carry on the mission. And in modern times, it's Shannon Masters who is the vessel for Aurelia, who is given these powers, who is the warrior nun, and who serves, you know, the church and fights demons, and surrounded by the sister warriors as well with her. So that's kind of what the comic book is all about. And reading kind of what it is, I can say that I feel like the show creators of Warrior Nun did take some liberties with the storyline. I'm going to talk spoilers, guys. I finished this season, so of course the big spoiler at the end, I want to get to that, but I'm going to talk spoilers. So if you have not seen season 1 of Warrior Nun, pause, wait, come back after you finish this, and then of course fire back on the social media groups and tell me what you thought about it. So with the liberties, you know, obviously when you're looking at the comic book, Shannon, that was the original Warrior Nun at the beginning of the first episode, who was the Warrior Nun who died, and then the halo was passed to Ava. Now, again, just doing a little bit of research into the comic book, not a lot. I don't see a mention of an Ava character anywhere in the comic books, so I'm thinking what the show did was take, you know, that essential storyline of the comic book and kind of expand on it. Because when you look at her supporting characters, you do have Mary there, you do have Mother Superion, and several other characters to go along with her. But again, no Ava, no Beatrice, no Camilla. So in that respect, I think they took the basis of what the comic book was and kind of did their own thing with it. And then, like I said, I think they very much wanted to give it more of a Buffy the Vampire Slayer vibe to make this character, Ava, a much more normal person, to where the audience might relate to her better than, say, someone like a Shannon, who is, very much the straightforward, mission type, rather than a regular person. So just to start off, like I said, I have not read the comic books, so I didn't base it off anything. So I was coming at this blind, and I think that's the better way to do it. Given the fact that it looks like, this is really just expanding off of what the comic book mythology is. Now, I remember when I saw the trailer, I tried to look up on Hoopla, which is the digital public access to digital material. Since I have an Austin library card, I'm able to access things, read books, get CDs, rent stuff from there. But they didn't have anything Warrior Nun, which I was a little disappointed with, because usually when I see a trailer like that, especially if it's based off a comic book, I want to try to get a taste of what the original source material was before I see the movie or the series coming out that it's based off of. That's how I got into Guardians of the Galaxy. I knew who the Guardians were back in the day, but I never read any Guardians of the Galaxy comic books. Then I heard that Marvel was going to make a major motion picture out of them in the MCU, so I went to go check out the Guardians, and I loved it. And, now Guardians of the Galaxy is one of my favorite comic books that I try to read. So with this one, again, Flying and Blind, I really enjoyed the show. I really did. It was, right up kind of my alley. Like I said, kind of a Buffy vibe. But, you're fighting demons, you got mystical powers. The characters, I think, were just interesting enough to where you can get into it. Sometimes, you can't rely just on the premise. You have to have the characters and care about these characters to go along with it all. And, while I don't think they were phenomenal, I think the characters were good enough that you can definitely expand in the next season and do more with them to become more involved with them as well. Now, I really liked, it was about halfway through the season where they kind of ditched the Ava running with, the crowd storyline. I think it's JC was the name of that guy that, she followed and was into and hung out with that crowd. I know, you needed those people that she could try to relate to before she had her come to Jesus moment, if you want to add that to it, when she realized she had to accept the halo and kind of do what she needed to do. Whether we see this JC and his crew again, I'd imagine he might pop up at some point, but I definitely think that Tarisk scared the shit out of him. So we'll just have to wait and see if he pops up again. Because it looks like Ava and her team have enough cut out for them going into season 2. Just to skip to the ending, like I said, I'm doing spoilers, so let's skip to the ending. That final episode, where Ava gets into the tomb, and we come to find out that the character of Adriel isn't just bones. The original plan was to get Adriel's bones, which they figured still tethered demons to this world. So if they destroyed the bones, they could, get rid of the demons, and there wouldn't have to be any warrior nuns, and the whole war would be over, essentially. But she gets in there, and Adriel's still in there, and we come to find out through a series of events that he is not an angel. He's actually a demon who stole the halo. The Tarisk, I feel like I'm saying that wrong too, but that's why he was chasing him. He killed the Tarisk and decided to take the halo and put it inside Aurelia. Did I get that right? To basically force these people, or trick these knights, to believe he was an angel and to think that, protecting the halo was what God wanted, so to speak, when really he's just a demon who got his hands on a halo and he needed somewhere to stash it. And after he used the Tarisk to build some armor, which is the Divinium, he went on to have, again, people believing he was an angel, and eventually, they put him in there to try to protect him so he wouldn't go searching for the halo, if I'm understanding that correctly. I only watched it once, and for a guy who's not that bright, I think that's what I understood happened. But he has been manipulating the whole scenario with Father Vincent and even Michael, the kid, because the kid Michael has got part divinium in him. That's what his mother did to help keep him alive, and Ethereal can learn things through his armor. Michael is essentially part of the armor, so that's how he's kind of been learning about the outside world after being trapped in that tomb for thousands of years. So Ethereal gets out. We learn that Father Vincent is working with him, and also we come to find out Duretti is not behind all of this. It was really Vincent, and he's the one that set up Shannon to die, and the halo to be passed on, setting all the emotions of this season up. It's pretty good, honestly. It's a pretty good twist. I think you knew something was gonna not go that way. You figured that Ethereal was something was up with him when he was still alive, and you knew there had to be another foot that was going to drop. At least when I was watching that last episode, there had to be something else. Either it was going to be one of the girls that was on with him, or it was going to be, one of the adults like Vincent or even Duretti, perhaps. Could have been that. But in any event, I felt something was going to happen, but I did enjoy it. I did enjoy that twist, especially since Vincent is very much a father figure to the girls, and the betrayal, I think, is going to run very deep in this next season. What's going to happen to him? Is he going to have to, stick with Ethereal, or is he going to have his own come to Jesus moment where he tries to pray for redemption and try to get back in the girls' good graces? But just to run through characters real quick, because when I do reviews like this for movies or seasons of TV or episodes, I find it's easy to just go character for character real quick and snap them off. That way I don't miss any kind of characters or plot points I want to talk about. So Ava, starting off, our main character, the actress Alba Baptista. Of course, I said that wrong. That's what I do. Are you new here? What? Anyway, I thought she did a great job. She really had, to me, she was kind of a mix between Jennifer Lawrence and Kristen Stewart. It was kind of the vibe I was getting with this actress. But I thought she played the character as should be. She was the one cracking jokes. She was our point of view character. She was the one that the audience really had to cling to in order to, really push this thing through to the end and make you believe and like what was going on. But I didn't, like her whole thing with the boy. Ooh, the boy, ooh. Yeah, I liked it better when she dumped the guy and, started playing actual warrior nun, but that's my own personal cynical preference. Oh well. Shotgun Mary, played by Toya Turner. Again, a character that episode, I think it was episode 6, was it? When, her and Ava went to that town and, she was trying to talk to Ava about what she should do and how she should turn back to the church. That was a great episode. A lot of, character moments in that episode that I think, of course, helped Ava in her journey. The character herself of Mary, obviously she had some kind of relationship with Shannon. The nature of the relationship you could hint at is, a loving one or not, maybe a sisterly one. Not really a big deal to me either way about it. She's the tough girl of the group, and that's the one thing I like too, is they tried to separate, the girls. You have Ava, who is the warrior nun, more of the, normal girl, I guess, or, one of the sarcastic girl, and, the character we have to most relate to. You have Mary, who's the tough one, with an attitude. Beatrice is kind of the straight-laced, student who is, badass to start off with. Give Beatrice that to herself. And then you have Lilith, who is the, I guess, brown-noser, and, it's all about, what she's told and what the mission is. By the end of it, she's got some stuff going on there. And then you have Camilla, who is, much more innocent compared to the rest of the girls, a little more doe-eyed. So again, it just the combination of them together, trying to make them seem so different, I think definitely worked in that. Going back to Beatrice, I don't know. And again, I'm just a chauvinistic male white guy. I don't know if they were trying to set something up where maybe Beatrice and Ava had more than just a close friendship happening. Because there was some looks there during training that gave me the vibe that maybe there's something more than just friendship going on there. But again, I'm an idiot, so I could be totally misreading that. Probably I am. But I like the character of Beatrice. Again, she was more of a straight-laced character. I love the moment where she kind of stood up to Cardinal Duretti as well. That was a really nice moment where she's like, I serve, I don't serve the church, I serve God, and of course then she got reassigned and that all happened. But a good character that could definitely take care of herself, and I think is one to keep everyone on mission. Lilith, of course, big question mark. What's going on with her? Now, she went to hell. Teshrick took her to hell. So I'm assuming she's sent back to be some kind of weapon against Ethereal, possibly to get the Halo herself. I think we're going to figure out more about that in the next season. But I think that story arc has started to simmer a little bit in this one, and I think it's going to come to a head maybe in season 2, perhaps when Lilith and Ava get a little closer, and maybe it turns out that at the end of season 2, she has to fight Lilith, or Ava has to fight Lilith. Perhaps, I could see something like that definitely happen in season 2. Father Vincent, I talked about, with him, I can see him, either sticking with the bad guy or maybe seeking some road to redemption in the next one. Julian Salvis, the scientist, when the show started, I thought it was going to be very much a, science versus religion kind of show, but it was only like that once, you thought she was the villain, because at first you thought she was the villain, then of course you're thinking Duretti's the villain, and you come to find out at the very last episode, Vincent and Ethereal are the villains, so it kept you guessing a little bit, I'll give you that. But with her, Michael, again, at the end there, went through the portal, essentially to the other plane. I think for her, it's going to be about trying to get her son back by any means necessary. But I'm anxious to see, exactly what lengths she's going to and what she'll do, of course, given that you saw what she was willing to do to Ava to try to power the machine, to try to save her son. We'll see how that develops. Camilla, I've mentioned on her, a good character who, didn't get a lot of time, of course. I think she wasn't even in that last episode much. But, she's part of the group. And I'm anxious to see again how she develops with the group, those core girls, those 5 girls, grow up and grow together more. I think is going to be really good in season 2. Of course, if there is going to be a season 2, I'm hoping there is at least. Cardinal Duretti, you thought he was the bad guy through most of the series. Turns out he wasn't. Now he's Pope Duretti. And we'll see if he decides to help the girls or not. And then last person I want to talk about, Mother Superior. A great character. Someone who, is very tough-nosed. And you come to find out she was a warrior nun herself very briefly. Again, just touching on those little nuggets, planting those seeds in this season to hopefully pay off next season and beyond, getting more backstory on her. And, she's got that scar over her eye. She's got the scar from where she had the halo. I want to know more about that, too. It's just, giving us those little nuggets. What's going on with Lilith? What happened to Vincent to make him betray the Order? All these little seeds, I think, that have been planted throughout season 1 that I think are really going to, drive a lot of people to try to check out season 2. But if I had any negatives about the season, like I said, I think it was that beginning where everything was just getting started and really Ava really wasn't doing much except hanging out with that group, with that JC guy. Once that, she decided to join the mission, I guess you would say, things got a little more interesting. I wish they would have, put it a little ahead, like maybe had only 2 or 3 episodes with Ava trying to find herself versus half the season. But it is what it is, and I like where we ended up. So I'm definitely looking forward to season 2 on this one. And like I said, I think it very much has a modern Buffy vibe going on with it, without as much quirkiness. And of course, the funny vampires like Spike and Angel aren't there. Oh, ESPN app. Something popped up. I'll check it in a minute here. But anyway, yes, I like the show. It was interesting. I wouldn't put it as something I'm, craving. Not like a show like Yellowstone, my current favorite show, where I gotta watch it as soon as I possibly can. But it's with these Netflix shows nowadays, I'm not the type of person where I want to watch, 10, 13 episodes of a series all at once. I'm not that. I like, show like Stargirl. I like that I'm watching it once a week. I like Yellowstone when I'm watching it once a week. Netflix, it was great, years ago when I had the time to sit down for an entire day and just binge something. But at the same time, once you binged it, you were done. And, what were you going to do for the rest of the year until, the show came back with another season, if not more. So I think Netflix is kind of a style that's not going to be followed in the future with other streaming services. Of course, Hulu, I think a lot of their stuff is weekly. HBO, of course, is weekly. Apple, I believe, is weekly. It's just, the whole dumping thing on one day, I think has come to show that, shows like Game of Thrones and The Mandalorian, if you put one episode a week, you get people talking about the show for months versus dumping it all at once and maybe get 2 weeks out of it as far as buzz. So it is what it is. Either way, I'm still excited for season 2, should it come up, and hopefully you guys have checked out the season, but I really want to know what you think about it. Fire back, of course, on the social media groups and Gmail account. Let me know what you think about Warrior Nun Season 1. Have you read the comic? I'm very curious, people who have read the comic, what they think about it. I think this, definitely has a couple of questions in regards to religious and faith, but I'm not going to get into those. There's one good quote. I love the quote. By Ethereal, of course. It was, let me see if I can get it right. Without faith, you can't have manipulation. Without manipulation, there is no fear. Without fear, there is no power. I probably misquoted that a little bit, but you got the idea, and I think it's a good quote to think about, nonetheless. But okay, guys, that's it. I am gonna go pick up my daughter, get on with my day, and hopefully I'll have this posted up in a little bit. But I really want to know what your thoughts are. So if you finished Warrior Nun, let me know, guys, because I don't know anyone else who's finished it, and I want to hear what people are talking about with this show. So DayspringDiscussions@gmail.com, Facebook group, Twitter account. You can find me personally, Slim Dayspring12 on Twitter and Instagram. I got another episode I'm hoping to get up in the next couple of days in regards to a fan casting for one of my favorite animated sci-fi shows. So we'll see if I can get that one up. But until next time, may the Force be with us all.